Instances of school-related gender-based violence often go unreported, leading to the normalization of such behavior over time. This creates unsafe learning environments, with girls being disproportionately affected. Incidents of sexual abuse results in teenage pregnancy and child marriage, ultimately leading to girls dropping out of school. When teachers fail to address gender-specific needs, learners face discrimination based on their gender. The Forum for African Women Educationalists Zimbabwe is piloting the SRGBV model in 6 schools in Chitungwiza, Zimbabwe, in partnership with Together for Girls under the Data for Change program. The model seeks to create better school systems that will lead to the elimination of SRGBV in and around schools by identifying prevailing forms and drivers of SRGBV, developing interventions within school systems, monitoring progress and measuring the effectiveness of interventions.
The main objective of the project was for us to be able to capacitate education stakeholders, looking at teachers, looking at school administrators, even the officials from the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, to be able to at first identify school-related gender-based violence in the schools. So we have been conducting activities that give them the knowledge on what is SRGBV, how to identify it, how to report, how to refer, and even how to respond at school level. We have conducted an initial training of trainers with our 6 project schools, where we invited 6 school heads and 18 teachers to take them through a training using a manual that was developed by FAWE. So we are basically guided by this toolkit, which was developed using a mirrored approach that emphasizes issues of inclusivity, gender, issues of disability, and issues of it being learner-centered.
I also attended a SRGBV workshop. I think I learned a lot of things which we brought back to FAWEZI. There were a lot of violence which happened at school. We managed to identify typical violence which is encountered by learners. These include bullying on their own and even some abuse forms which comes from teachers that include corporal punishment, ill treatments, bad language, all those things. We learned it from the workshop.
The way we dealt with learners before the workshop and the way we now see things in the clear picture is somehow different.
We managed to improve a lot in terms of discipline. Yes, we were informed that we should come up with our school rules, classroom rules. I think we had about 50 or so club members of pupils who were there. We just gave them the know-how on how to make these rules. They came up with their rules. Some of them, they are here. We were helped at the workshop to remove some of the words "do not" and formulate exactly what should be done.
During the training, it was interesting to note that many teachers have some forms of SRGBV that they have condoned, that they accept or have even taken as normal. We realized that people are mainly aware of sexual abuse, but there are other forms of SRGBV that are even related to the school environment, which are often overlooked and never reported. So throughout the trainings and our visits to the schools, we have realized that the knowledge levels in terms of SRGBV have changed. The response is swifter. Schools have begun to craft revised school codes of conduct, you've begun to involve learners in designing response mechanisms when it comes to SRGBV.
Before the workshop, we used to operate the school with only school rules. But after the workshop on SRGBV, we came up with an action plan. And on that action plan, we mentioned that we are going to draft a school code of conduct. And we did that. Though we are still working on it, I think it's about 90% complete. Then on that code of conduct, we came up with ways in which learners, teachers, and parents should operate at a school. Also, we included the ancillary staff because previously we didn't include ancillary in much of the activities that we're doing. So when we drafted the code of conduct, the people who contributed to it were learners, teachers, and the ancillary was included in that. On the issues of SRGBV, boys were not that free to fully express themselves on things that were not well with them. But after we trained them, now they are free.
We have developed certain clubs and programs such as Tuseme, where we can come and talk about certain things that are happening at school, including SRGBV. We have also developed platforms where children can feel safe to come and talk. Sometimes we don't feel safe to talk to our teachers, but they feel safe to talk to other students. So as the prefect board, with our teachers helping us, we also created a platform whereby students can come to us if they feel like they're being bullied by other students, if they're not being treated well, if they're not being respected, or if they feel like there are certain teachers who are not exactly creating that student and teacher relationship the way it's supposed to be. And we have also managed to create a confidentiality platform whereby if a student has been bullied or if a student feels like another child is stealing or is violating them, we address that situation without other students knowing. Because I think SRGBV also spreads whereby if a student comes to me and I do not keep this child's secret and instead I go around telling everybody else, that spreads SRGBV.
We once heard of the boys in the toilets where they were queuing and asking for a toll fee so that you can go and use the toilet quickly. So the senior master, even the senior lady, is having frequent visit to the toilet and it's being minimized now.
Following the training on SRGBV, when we came back, we had a feedback to the staff at Sekemrimwe, and then we had an annual general meeting. We also cascaded the information to the parents. After that, we have cascaded the information to the young people in the school, the learners, all the learners.
Pachikoro panapa panga paine boys dzaindidhisa dzichingonditsvinyira dzinditi mazinzeve maziziso, asi madam chairo akatibatsira nekutidzidzisa SRGBV vachitidzidzisa kuti tive tichifarirana tichitamba tese, asi vakomana vangu vakundishedza vachinditiwo shamwari dzangu vachitonditiwo sisi. Moyo wangu uri kutonza kufara singamboite. Every girl vakutonakirwawo nekutamba neboys, just angu my brothers and sisters.
As far as involvement with the community, we have a Marisa Football Club. They train at our grounds. They've asked us to teach them guidance and counseling. And with the knowledge that we got from the training, we also added on SRGBV.
Kubva pakabva maticha kunodzidziswa zve SRGBV manual, vakauya vakatidaidza isu sevabereki vose vakatidzidzisa zvavakanga vadzidza ikoko kuti tigone kunobatsiridzana nevana tichidzidzisa kubva kudzimba. Ende kubva pavakauya vakatidzidzisa izvozvo ndakaona shanduko huru mukati memba yangu, nekuti vana vangu izvozvi vari kutoteerera kubva kumba vachidzidziswa kumba nekuchikoro, vava ne better change.
The book that they have given us is very comprehensive, and even after teaching the young people, I could notice some difference, that they are aware as far as SRGBV is concerned. The reports are just amazing.
It is user-friendly. We are using it. The only thing that you need to do is to have more of these ones. And I am happy that most of the things that are in the manual, they go hand in hand with some of the policies.
We have a variety of policies or guiding instruments that guide us in terms of prevention and management of school-related gender-based violence in our schools. First and foremost, we have the Mother, which is the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Then we have the Education Act. Then we have the permanent secretary-signed instruments that guide in the day-to-day running of schools. Then we have also an instrument on bullying. Bullying is a common phenomenon among us, our learners, on a day-to-day basis. So the instrument define what bullying is, and also how bullying is managed in schools, and the extent bullying can affect the social cognitive level of learners.
Chitungwiza district is one of the 7 districts under Harare Metropolitan Province, and within that context it looks is one of the biggest in terms of the population. In terms of the number of schools, we have got 50 public schools and about 60 independent colleges, ECDs, and other trust schools. Within that context, we have got at least over 86,000 students from primary to secondary level, and over 2,000 teachers within that very same district. The district itself is a habitat of over 1 million people, and within that context, it is quite an interesting scenario that if we look at the government in terms of service provision, it has got a budget, but at times it might fail to fulfill that budget. It then works together with various partners. In Chitungwiza, we are lucky that we've got FAWEZI, which is working within 2 districts, that is Chitungwiza and Shamva, in actually trying to empower girl children. We are very happy that in Chitungwiza they are actually operating in 6 schools, and within those 6 schools, clubs have been maintained, a lot of lessons have been learned, community awareness and engagement has also been done, especially in issues of gender-based violence. I still feel that out of the 50 schools that we have, I am just appealing that can't we increase and escalate the number of schools which will benefit from the funding from FAWEZI. It has actually reduced a number of reported cases of abuse because the girl child has been empowered.
While progress has been made, much work must be done to ensure that schools become SRGBV free, promoting quality education free from violence.
Let us unite our voices and efforts
to ensure that every girl has the opportunity
to thrive in school without the threat of violence.
The time for change is now.
Stand up,
speak out,
and be part of the solution.
Together we can build a brighter and safer school environment